Welcome to the Business Spotlight. My name is Jada Walker. I am your host for today's conversation, and my guest today is Sam Parker. He is the owner of My Credit Guide. We'll be talking about his business, journey to business ownership, challenges, best practices, and share a peek of what it's really like to own and operate a business. So, Sam, thank you and welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. I'd love for you to give us a little bit of your background about who you are and a little bit about your business as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me, Jada. I truly appreciate it. My name's Sam Parker. I am born and raised in little old Iowa, right in the middle of nowhere. I fell into credit repair, really. I was between semesters at college, and working at the time in the early 2000s on the phones for MCI. I was recruited by a headhunter, said that they wanted someone fresh and young to run sales and marketing for an upstart financial services company. Didn't tell me it was credit repair. And then when I get there the first day after dropping out of college, I find out that it's just a stack of papers with a phone, no computer, and I'm just supposed to call these people. And I'm like, this is not what it was supposed to be, but I've already I'm pot committed at this point, right? So
Right.
there I am, 19, 20 years old, just making calls. I realized after about 6 months that the way that we're doing this is not effective, but that what we're doing, credit repair, helping people improve their credit, qualify for home loans, that this is a very necessary service that is not being provided by any good companies out there. Even at 20, I was like, we're the best out here, and then we're competing with these really scummy companies. This has to be something that's done well. So I left after about 10 months of being with that company and started my first
Oh,
company at about 21 years old. Grew that up for 3.5 years, sold to a competitor, worked with them growing that company for about 6 years, and then started My Credit Guy in 2015. And since then, we've become not just in my opinion and a lot of people's opinion, the best credit repair company, but when it comes to people qualifying for a mortgage, we really are that gold standard in the company that a lot of mortgage companies choose to send their clients to. So just a little bit about us and the company and how we started.
I like that. That's cool how you like quit. I mean, not quit. You dropped out of college and then you went to this job and it was like not what you were thinking it was. And then
Yeah.
you still like came out on top. I love that. That's so cool. Because a lot of
Yeah.
people, I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have been like, mom, I'm gonna go back to college, or like, so I would have figured something
Well,
else out. I'm like, this is not.
I realized really early that my parents were both teachers and they
Oh,
loved going to school. They believed in school wholeheartedly, but as much as I love them, we struggled when I was young. We were poor and they worked their butts
mm-hmm.
off. And so from a very early age, I saw that I was going to need to do things a little differently. I also, undiagnosed, pretty sure I have pretty extreme ADHD. So sitting in class was it was torture, and I did it for the first
Yeah,
12 years or whatever, however many years
right. The
I could
acquired
do it
amount.
for more. And so when I started to get into business, I just asked the simple question of business owners, do I need a degree to work with you? Do I need a degree to have your job? And they'd go, well, no, there's no degree that, there was very few specializations where it's like, no, you really have to have this degree in order, or at least what I was interested in, right?
Yeah.
And so once I realized that, where I was like, so the sooner I get to work and fail and learn and fail and learn and fail and learn, this is just a game of failing and learning and not failing anymore. So as soon as I can fail 1,000 times and I can do that in the next few years in my early 20s while everybody is sitting in class, I can fail so many times. And so that's what I kind of set out to do was to, figure my way through it, and the sooner the better I could get started.
I like that. I wish more people, or I wish that was explained more like in high school before you even go to college. Because
I know.
if I would have had that explained to me, I probably would have even took like a gap year just to figure out what I actually wanted
Well,
to do instead of going and just being like, oh yeah, like whatever everyone else is doing, I'm doing that. Like what, like
you're
it makes way more sense to actually sit down and think about it.
100% right. And we see that a lot in my line of work, credit improvement. bad credit almost always starts off with being burdened by student loans, right?
Yes,
You start your life tens of thousands of dollars in debt with no guarantee that this tens of thousands of dollars is going to get you a job that's going to help you pay that off, right?
right.
And so it's all messed up from the beginning. It really is. And what I wish happened, like look at a teacher, for instance, okay? You spend your
Hmm.
first 3.5 years learning at that institution. And then the last little chunk, they send you out to be a student teacher. And what I have found is a lot of people, especially in this day and age, go, kids act different. I don't want to do this. What am I doing? But by then you are so pot committed, both life wise and financially, that now you're doing this job that, in my opinion, and I'm not just trying to say teachers, but it's a job that I don't think pays enough, that they do way
No,
more than they thought they were going to, and now they're stuck in it. And we need good teachers, but I mean, it's just
yeah.
not the deal they thought they agreed to, right? And that's why, yeah, having that.
And it's also like the parents need to like, take more responsibility at home, because it's like they're not paying attention to their kids. Like they're not helping them with their homework. They're not disciplining them at home. So then
Oh my gosh.
they don't know what discipline is at school. They're just like, whatever. Like,
I would never. I back in the day, I used to hear my parents on calls, and this was in the 90s, where a teacher would be complaining, and the student or the teacher could stand their ground. They'd say, "Now, did you know that Johnny said this?" And the parent would go, "I didn't know that. I'm going to take care of
right.
this." Right now, it's like I don't
Like
care
the
if the
parent is
kid
just
was on
automatically
the.
like going off and it's like they don't care about what their child said because it's like
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
whole nother issue that needs to be handled or whatever. But
Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
kids
Yep.
are kids are wild.
Wild, wild. Yep.
Everyone is just wild.
It
Okay,
is.
so let's set the stage for our viewers a little bit. Generally speaking, what does your current ownership structure look like? Like, are you the sole founder, or do you have like any investors or anything?
So my wife is my co-owner when we
Oh,
started My Credit Guy.
you know what? I actually think I saw that. I did see
Yeah,
that on your website. Yeah, because
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, that's so cute.
Well, when we sold the first company, I was the only owner of that, and we went to work for a guy that ended up being, just to be honest, a complete scumbag, especially to women. And so all
Mm,
of these women were on staff doing all of this work and being paid less than men and being treated really horribly. So when we left and started, I remember she was damaged from that relationship.
oh,
She was like, could I be part owner, like 60/40? And I was like, no way, you are 50/50. Like everything that you do is just as important as what I do behind the
right.
scenes. You have to have that. And then, so that's what we built, was a company that respected everyone, gave a safe place to anyone that wanted to work hard. And our number one rule ended up being, and it is a rule that's enforced by firings today, you must be a pleasure to work with. If you come into this office and you bring a dark cloud with you, I'll help you through a tough time, but I will not enable a bad attitude or a life
No.
of woe is me.
Yeah, no, because it's like you can find someone who can do the same job and has a way better attitude real quick.
Well, and if you're not happy here, then we're largely a product of our environment. So if you don't like working
Yeah,
here, what you don't realize is you don't like working here. I'm going to help you out with that. And I'm going to help
right.
you make a decision that you weren't going to make. And what do you want to bet? Your life gets better because you find somewhere that you like working
You
better.
actually like.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll help you out with that.
I hate when people stay at the job that they hate because I'm like, there's so many other jobs. Like, just go
Yeah.
try a different one. Like,
Yep.
you'd be so much happier. My
Yep.
goodness. Look, I'm like, I hope a lot of people listen to this one because you're giving off so many gems already.
Good. Good.
Okay, so let's tell us a little bit about your current role that you play in the business.
Yeah, so I'm the acting CEO, which means I have to do all the behind the scenes meetings. I meet a lot with partners because we work with mortgage companies and CRMs, and so I'll meet a lot with like our referral partners who are ultimately going to send us the business. And then
Mm,
I will not only create those relationships, but we'll figure out what the structure needs to look like to make it easy for them to send us business and for us to send business back to them, because everybody's just a little bit different. I do a lot of our content as well. So if somebody needs a video created, or if our company needs a
nice.
video created to talk about credit or whatever, I will usually knock that out. And then I'm our face. So if there's a stage to be on, I'll be on that stage. If there's a conference to be at, I'll usually be at that conference. Spreading the good word about my credit guy.
I love that. And I like the consistency where you're like it's you. So then like everyone knows that you are the CEO and like you are a part of the business and you're kind of hands on. So I like that.
Yeah, it really is kind of the model of the company because there's a couple different, well, there's numerous different models that you can run, but what we ended up running, I tried to duplicate my position. And since
Hmm.
credit repair it's a tough industry to operate in, trust is a
Yeah.
really big problem. And so luckily, people trust me and they've seen me over the years. And so what ended up happening is when I tried to recreate the me, right? When I tried to say, oh, hey, instead of Sam, you're going to be dealing with so and so, people were like, I mean, I like you. I like the videos. So what we created was like what we call a rainmaker model, where it's like I can handle all of that. I can create as many videos. I've made everything very scalable to where if I can
Hmm.
do something, I can do it well, have it duplicated, and have it produce the same result as when I was back doing it one-on-one, right? And so as long
Hmm.
as I can do that, and then we have about 60 support staff members that handle everything that comes next. So I basically go out, make these promises of what we're going to do, and then everybody else makes sure I'm not a liar. They've helped fulfill everything that I went out and said that we could do.
Nice. I love how you have a team that's actually like backs you up and can help you because some people like they don't. So it's and
Well,
like they kind of fail. So
and those people don't have businesses. They're self-employed. They work for their own business, but they're not truly a business owner because they can't walk away from that business and 2 weeks later check in and it's doing the same. They are a very big part of the running factory. And that's what I try to help my buddies with sometimes is because they're like, they'll be explaining their situation to me and I'll be like, hey, just so you know, though, if you look at like Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrants, you are way over top left. Like you are still active in your business. Yes, you pay yourself, but you're an employee of
right,
yourself. If you want to get way over here, you have got to delegate. You have to create systems that you follow religiously. You got to fire people when it's uncomfortable. You got to step out and hire sometimes before the money's there. Like you got to do the uncomfortable things. But once you have that structure in place to do it, it's not a guessing game.
right. Yeah, no, I understand. So before we get into the nitty gritty of the business itself, let's look into your background a bit and what led you here. So as you look back on your journey so far, what has been the most memorable roadblock or hurdle that you were challenged with and you were forced to overcome?
Probably leaving the company that I had sold to. When I sold to
Mhm.
that company, I planned on just being there. I had already been an owner in my early 20s for a few years and realized that that was as stressful as it could possibly be.
Yeah.
I really did think open a company, the money comes in, like everybody's happy. Like I didn't know
Right. I
about
feel like that's what everyone thinks. It's like, oh yeah, like that's the American dream. Like you just keep the money just keeps coming, but it's like
yep.
what happens when it doesn't.
Yep. And I didn't know about paying taxes that well in my early, like there
Yes.
was a lot that came and bit me on the butt. And so when we sold, I was just ready to be done with all that. I just wanted to sell, do my own thing, focus on my little family that I was starting to grow and be in a safe place. And then the realization that this wasn't a safe place, that I would, some of the things that were being said to the women in that company, it's like in any other setting, I would fight this guy. Like I'm not a big fighter,
Yeah.
but it's like the things that are coming out
But
of
it's
his
like
mouth.
you're making me mad to where I'm
Yeah.
gonna fight you.
I mean, you are saying things that like on my honor, I should step up and fight you man on man because you're saying such disgusting things to these married women or
Mm.
unmarried women. And so what happened was when we left, 6 other women ended up suing this guy for sexual harassment. That's how nasty it
Oh,
was. So what we had to do was go through, and then when we left and told him the reason we're leaving is because of this, we moved to Arizona from Iowa. Told them we're not going to touch any of your business. Just leave us alone. We'll start from scratch. Leave us alone. But I made up 90% of his business. So about a week later, we get a 67 count lawsuit, non-compete, non-solicitation, non-everything that we're already
oh,
not doing.
wow.
And we had to decide at that point, do we settle with this guy, give him some money? No, is the answer. And I've learned since then, like I've had really great lawyers over the last 10 years where they're like, Sam, sometimes we just punt and we get out of this thing and we go. I hadn't learned that yet. And I was like, I'm not, no way. I will
Right.
fight through this. So we had to move out to Arizona, start from scratch, make enough money to not just live, but to fight this guy in court. And we ended up winning. It took us a year and we were almost
Well,
broke, but
good.
it ended
I
up
mean, not that
winning.
you're almost broke, but good that you won.
Well, and he had to pay us. So he ended up suing us, had to pay us, and had to pay all of those women that he,
Oh, that's what
yeah,
he gets.
because
Look,
once he came after us, everybody got mad because I was the one kind of protecting them from him in there.
yeah.
That was for sure the
So they
hardest.
were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna stand up with you. Like we're banding together." I love that. I love when
Yep.
people all come together and they're like, "Yeah, we're just gonna."
Well, and this was a bully, it's like, has this bully ever been beaten up? It's like, no, I don't think anybody's ever punched him in the nose. So let's punch him in the wallet. Let's punch him in the business.
Yes.
And that's what we did. And then the cool thing was several of those women ended up coming on and being huge key parts of the company. Some of them still are today, 10 years later. And
Good.
so that was the hardest thing we ever did for sure. But it made us, I mean, who can mess with us now once you've been through something like that? It's like, next up, let's go. We know how to do
Right.
this.
Would you say this had like a major impact on your growth as a business owner?
Yeah, absolutely. Because good or bad, it made me go out and create entirely new markets. Because normally when somebody leaves a company, they're just like, and they do this, and I can look at it back then. I looked at it from the rep side of things, like, well, this is my book of business. I went out and talked to these people. Now that I'm the owner, I'm like, and I paid you to do that every time for my company, right? So good, bad, or ugly, when I moved 1,200 miles away from the only thing I had ever known for the first 30 years of my life, I had to start all over. And that really launched us where once we won that lawsuit, we were able to go back to everybody that I had already had these relationships with. And they're like, oh my God, like we can finally work with you. This is awesome. But in the meantime, we had gone out
Nice.
and created all these new ones and bigger than we had before. So it was almost like we didn't know what we could do until we were forced to show ourselves what we could do. And then once
Hmm.
we proved that to ourselves, then that just gave us the template to never really stop growing or to be nervous about it or to be scared of anything.
Right.
Just
Or like never
oh,
back down, like the movie
yeah,
Never Back Down.
yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. That's like I love that story. You should tell that to everybody. Be like, yeah, this we did this, and then boom. Like
Yep.
that's a great story. I would tell that every time I went to
Lead
speak
with
or
that,
something.
right? Lead with that, then get to the
And
credit repair.
especially if like he ends up in the same room, I'd be like, oh yes, I'm definitely
Oh,
telling
I
this
would.
story.
I would.
No names named.
Yeah, the funny thing is he reached out to us several times
Oh no.
over the next few years and tried to sell to us. And we were always like, nah, it just doesn't look like the business is doing good enough. Sorry.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. It's like how have the tables turned?
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on and let's talk about what makes your business so special. So who primarily does your business serve? Like if I was in the audience, how would I know that I'm a great fit for your service?
Yeah, so we help anybody who has credit issues who is ready to not have credit issues, right? And the reason I say that is because a lot of people who think they want credit repair want all of their debts erased, and it just doesn't work like that. Now, if they're
Right.
ready to work through their debts, if they're ready to stop doing the things that got those things on there, and so that doesn't apply to everybody. Some people are like, man, I got sick or my kid got sick. Don't talk to me like that. Hey, I get that. We'll help you just come back from that. But anybody who has collections, charge off, profit and loss, late pay, or they just don't know what's going on with their credit profile, we do a free review for them, tell them exactly what's going to need to be done. Then the client can decide whether or not they want to execute on their own or whether they want to hire us for the heavy lifting. The majority of the clients that we're working with right now are in pursuit of getting a home loan or they want that as their
Oh,
end all
nice.
be all goal. So what our job is to get your credit where it's good enough that if you went to a bank, they would say, hey, credit wise, now there's other factors, income, all that good stuff. But our
Mm-hmm.
job is to make it so that a lender would go, credit wise, you are good to go. Right. And so that's kind of who we mostly work with. And again, the reason is the motivation. If somebody is really trying to get a home for their family, then when I tell them, I'm going to help you through this, but I need you to set $500 aside so that we can do a settlement on a 2-year-old collection that you've just let go. I need somebody that goes, If that's what it's going to take and you can save me that money, that's great. I can't work with the person that's like, I didn't really want to pay them and I'm not paying that. I just thought you'd get it deleted. It's like, come on,
Right.
come on.
It's like, come on, guys, you gotta put in a little work. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
it's also, I feel like sometimes it's social media's fault where people think like it can just be deleted because people will go on TikTok or Instagram and be like, oh, hey, like all you have to do is
Oh,
do this. And like, I'm like, wait, what?
the
No.
credit repair world is nasty. And so I almost don't even get into it as much as I should because and that's why we work on referral because then it's like, I don't want to go on to TikTok and compete with somebody that's just straight up lying because now I have to
Yeah.
explain why they're a fraudster and then why we're good. And in the meantime, all their followers are sending back love messages to me. And it's like, I don't want to mess with that. But there are no shortcuts in credit. I mean, bottom line, like if you want to have a good, solid credit profile, the 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 signing on as a paid authorized user, the buying a new account, the starting over with a different number that's not a social security number, any of that is just BS. And you're just pushing the real problem down the road where in just a couple of months of working with a company like ours or my company specifically, you can use your own social. You don't have to worry about that again and no games or gimmicks. And here's the thing. If you ever thought of somebody as not being trustworthy or knew that they had horrible credit, if they show up on social media saying that now they have all the answers, you know that they're full of it. You know that they didn't, all they're trying to do is make money off of you now. They're not
Right.
they're not actually a credit expert. So,
Not at all. Because
yeah.
I've had so many people like come in my DMs, like my friends from home, and like they're like, "Oh, I'm doing this," and I'm like, "But I don't trust you.
Yeah, I
I
don't
know you.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's like I know you
they
too
just
well."
they always have the special sauce. Like if you'll ask them like how do you get this done? They never go, "Well, you know what? Hard work. We're gonna because what I would say is we're gonna make the credit bureaus prove that what they're reporting is correct. If they can't, they have to delete it. If they do verify it, now we have debt resolution experts that are going to get on the phone with you, settle out these debts, get them taken care of once and for all. If you don't have enough positive trade lines, we're going to help you establish those and then teach you how to use them. That's the recipe for a delicious credit cake. You
I'm
can't
like, even
change it.
listening to you say that, I'm like, that sounded so good. Like, I would automatically be like, yeah, like I want to work with you. Like, I want you to do my credit. Like, I'm someone I actually like kind of messed up my credit like 2 years ago.
I
I got
gotcha.
fired and then I couldn't I couldn't pay my bills. So now I'm like, oh, I need you for real.
Yeah, yeah, I'll take good care of you.
What is one thing that you wish more people knew about your business?
Just that we're here, that we're advocates for them. Credit is such a big thing, and the credit bureaus do such a big and effective job of talking trash about our industry. And then you got the people like what we were talking about on TikTok that help them out because it's like, what you just said is actually wrong. That's shady. Don't do that. But I just wish they knew that there's one company here that's respected by a country-wide, of mortgage lenders who have put us through the paces that we're just here. And we will give you help no matter what, whether you pay us or don't pay us. We're going to look at your credit report and tell you what needs to happen and at least make it make sense. And I want them to know that credit is a good thing. Credit is an equalizer. Credit is something that if you're going into a fight, you want to have a sword and a shield. There's no point of just
Yes.
going in with one and not the other. Like some people will be like, you don't need credit at all. It's like, you're just saying that because you have bad credit. Like that's not like you're only saying that because it benefits you in some way. But anyone else that's reasonable or rational says credit's good. Why? Because it is what gives access to your regular Joe Schmo
Yes.
to own a home. And owning a home is the only vehicle that I know. You could talk about crypto or whatever, but owning a home is the only vehicle that I know that for everybody, as long as you get your credit and your income in order, it is it is the vehicle that can make you hundreds of thousands of dollars by just doing your day to day. You are literally living in a piggy bank that just keeps growing. But the difference is you get to
Yes.
use it. You get to have guests over. You get to raise your kids in it. You get to have all these fun times. And then
Right.
you get all your money back plus probably tens or hundreds of thousands when you sell.
Yes. See, and that's why I was trying to build my credit to like, get to that point. I had a
Yeah.
good credit score. I was almost at 800.
Ooh.
Then yeah, I was like, oh, so when watching it go down, I was like, oh my God, this is Like
We'll
I
get you
worked
back there.
so hard for them to take all those points away. I was just like, oh,
Well, and
this
it
sucks
happens so fast. It's so hard to earn
so
those points.
fast.
You add one late pay. Like, let's say that somebody's at an 800 and they add one mortgage late pay, their score's probably dropping to low 700s, if not high
Yeah.
600s.
And
So,
I'm like, why is so much get taken off? Can you explain that? Actually, like,
yeah,
why does so
well,
many points get taken whenever like they only give you like 3 points when you do something good?
because it's a risk mitigation model for the banks. So it's not set up to give everybody great opportunities. It does that, but what credit is really and credit scores are set up there for is to judge how likely you are to go late on an account in the next 24 months. So when you know
Mm.
like, hey, what is a credit score even? It's like, well, before we get to all the different things it can do for you, it's technically a scale of just how bad you're going to do, right? Then you're like, then now you look at it through that frame of like, okay, so I'm not starting with an A, I'm starting with an F, and I need to earn my A, right?
Yeah.
And so the thing is that when they're looking at it through the lens of, is this person going to pay me or not? Once you get up to those high scores, when you add a new late pay, that's a red flag to them saying like they didn't just pay a bill, and that's why the scores dropped that much. And that's really, again, that's why you have such a big dip is because it's set up there to protect the banks, not to protect you. You can
Mm.
hijack
Okay.
credit, you can hijack it and go, I know all the tips and tricks to keep my scores at an 800. These guys are never going to make money off of me, or they're not going to make much off of interest. You can hijack their system, but just don't forget that it's set up there to protect banks and their money.
Okay. That makes a lot more sense. I'm glad I just asked that question because
Yeah.
I'm like, that makes no sense why I'll get like 3 points and then literally they'll take like 30 points away. I'm like, what is wrong?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not a forgiving model.
Not at all. It definitely like makes you like go depressed. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like all that time I spent ruined, but
Yeah.
whatever. So let's actually take a minute to talk about marketing. I feel like marketing is vital to every business out there, and some businesses actually kind of struggle or they just don't really even worry about their marketing.
Yeah.
So I'm actually curious what successful businesses are doing. So do you know what percentage of your monthly sales is typically invested back into your marketing budget?
Yeah, we don't do a lot of consumer direct marketing, honestly, just
Okay.
because with the filters that are set up on social media, it's very hard to get an ad to run
No, it
about
really is.
credit repair in general. So all of our marketing efforts are set up to our referral partners who are very easy to contact, and then we let them send us clients, right? And so most of our marketing
Okay.
dollars are going to be spent in being seen, like conferences or, supporting different organizations and stuff like that. But we're not pumping much. We've tried it in the past. We've hired ad people, social media people, all that good
Mm-hmm.
stuff. And either we don't get the leads, or when we get the leads, like I was saying, they're a consumer lead that's not serious about, they're like, well, what can you do for my credit? And it's like, okay, well, we can do this, this, and this. You're going to need to pay down this and pay that out. They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm not paying anything. Like I'll pay you,
Right.
but then you get it all removed. It's like it doesn't work like that. So
No.
just yeah, with where we sit in the industry, all of our marketing efforts are spent towards that lender. But mostly what we do is video testimonials from
Okay.
multiple lenders in the industry. So that way when someone else sees it, they're like, oh my gosh, that's so and so. And then they sell it for us, you know?
Right. Because yeah, I'm like they'll see that they know the. I mean, some people will see that they know the person and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, like they got
Yeah.
help. Like I need help too.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
I love that. Almost like word of mouth, but not necessarily. I mean, you do still probably get word of mouth, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's a little different. Yeah, I
Yeah, it's
like that.
definitely like a grassroots networking more so type thing, just because anybody that we go to, they're either going to put us through the paces because credit repair is an industry that they need to see that we're doing everything on the up and up, or they need to know, oh, so that guy put you through the paces? Well, I know he's tough to deal with, so if he said it, then I'm good with it too, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you had actually mentioned earlier having a few team members where possible. So I feel it's important to discuss the topic of building a team. So how would you describe your leadership style in business, and has it changed over the years?
Yeah, because I was a lot more involved with the day to day back in the day. And so my
Okay.
leadership style used to be watch me, right? Like I'd say, hey, I'm in the trenches with you, watch me go. and then do what I do or keep up with me, but they're very motivated by me being kind of elbow to elbow with them. As we've grown, I've had to step out of that role more to grow the company, maintain the company, and have the meetings
Right.
that I need to have. And the way that I've explained this is if I continue to do those activities, then they're not there for you to do. And they're not there for us to grow, and they're not there for us to become specialized in. So now it's much more of a I still need to show them value. Like I've always, one thing that my dad told me, he'd always just say, like, it's pretty tough to lead from behind. He'd just kind of throw
Yeah.
that one in there when it zinged really hard on me. And I wanted to think of myself as this, you know, top wrestler, top football player, but I didn't want to get up and go do that practice. And he'd go, yeah, yeah, it's up to you. It's just pretty tough to lead from behind. So what do you want your team to do? And I'd be like, all right. And he'd also say, act like it a lot. He'd be like, what do you want out of it? You want a state championship? What do you want? I'd be like, yeah, I want it, but I'm sitting here. He'd be like, all right, why don't you act like it? And I'd be like, oh God, that hurts when you say that. And so I always want my team to know that I'm acting like it, that it's important to me. And as we've grown, it is tougher to do because inevitably it's like I do go on a vacation here or there. I do have
Right.
a nice thing here or there. And
Which I'm like, I feel like everyone deserves that every once in a
yeah,
while. Like, of course, go take care of yourself.
yeah, they do, but you just can't start looking like that owner that isn't there now at all.
Hmm.
Now, that being said, every owner wants to get to that point where they're like, I don't want to do that. I did that for how many years? I want to
Right.
whatever. And at that point, what I have found is the more that I step out of the day to day, just the more that I need to let them know that I am supporting them. It's not like I have to answer to the crew, but I want them to understand like different things happen in different ways. I used to get down and sell for you. Now I'm making sure that you're all protected. I'm making sure this company continues to go. I just landed us this big partnership. That's going to mean more work for
Right.
you. It's going to mean that you can refer us family and friends for the next positions that are open. And so then you get your team kind of cheering you on to step out more, and then
Right.
everybody's happy.
So with like this happening, are you seeing any leaders developing on your team?
Yeah, especially in my ops side, I have what are now what we've done is we let leaders step up and then we memorialize them as managers and then we, just kind of turn them into people that it's like this is who we want you to be. We turn them into templates where we say, "Hey, listen, these are the people that we want you to learn from and copy and ask questions of and everything." So, yeah, we definitely saw people
Nice.
step up when given the opportunity to when they knew that at least they weren't going to be stifled, right? Because it wasn't like I
Yeah.
said, I want all ideas from everybody, because that's when you do that as a business owner, you're opening up a Pandora's box that eventually you're going to have to close. And then people are pissed when they're like, so you don't want ideas anymore? It's like, no, listen, I have an open door for ideas, but what I want you to bring me is the problem, your proposed solution, and if you would like to be involved in that solution at all, or if you just have a suggestion for me. Because a lot of times when it's just a suggestion, it's like, I mean, I'm going to pin this and come back to it because
Right.
all you identified was a problem. You didn't have an idea. You just told me a problem, and I'll get to the problem. But so anyway, my people know that they have an open door that they can step up and that stepping up will be rewarded.
Yeah, I've been in the position where I've taken my boss like a problem and she like asked me for like what I think the solution is and I was like, I didn't even think about it. And then she's
Yeah.
like, well, go back to your desk and think and then come back to me.
Well, and you run the risk. You got to be delicate with it because some people are like, well, never mind then. I thought you just wanted ideas. And it's like, I do want your ideas, but you're the one working through it. So if you are telling me
Right.
this is a problem, what finish the sentence. This is a problem. The way that it could be fixed if I could just have, or if I just did, or if we just finish the sentence at all. And then I'll help you with that part of it. But since you're bringing it to me from your expert level, this is a problem, then tell me how it could not be a problem. At least give it your best go.
Right. Right. It's like at least try a little bit.
Try a little bit. Yep.
So let's now move fast forward and look at what's to come next. So where do you see your business in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to just think that we're just going to keep doing what we do and be available for all the mortgage companies. I'll tell you that on a monthly basis, we get pinged by mortgage companies, CRMs, other financial institutions interested in bringing us internally so that they could kind of have us and nobody else can have us, and that then they'll just have us work on all their stuff. And
I don't think
it's
that's fair. We need you. Us normal people need you.
well, and that's what we say too, is like, luckily I come from humble roots, like I said. So dangling dangling big numbers in front of me sometimes almost kind of is like, oh, like I it's hard to grasp. But then my
Hmm.
question is always, who will do what we're doing now then? Because if we get taken internally to somewhere, there's not another credit repair company out there that I would trust to refer a business to. They charge up front, they overpromise, they overcharge, they don't
Yes.
have good follow-up or communication, one of those things. And so like I ended up just sitting here going, you know what? I feel like this is kind of where God's put me for right now. When there comes a partnership that is undeniable, it's going to be undeniable to me too. But for right now, we're just going to keep doing this thing at a very reasonable price for good people that are just trying to become homeowners and raise their family in a home instead of an apartment, you know?
I love that, especially for me, because that's literally that's me right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Well, that's
Oh,
what we're here for. That's all we want to do because we know, I remember the day that I became a homeowner, my life changed. It does something for you. It puts something in your brain that goes check, right? And when
yes,
you're in pursuit of that American dream, however you define it, it almost always has own my own home. It almost always has that. And if it
yes.
doesn't, it's because you don't realize the power of equity growth and that can make you a lot of money. So,
Yeah, because I'm like my parents, they used to they had a house like whenever I was little, but then we moved, like my parents split up and so like
mhm.
me and my brother, we went with my mom and like she's always rented and we've always been like, can we buy a house? Can we buy a house? Like
Oh,
we know the value of a house and we're young, but like
yeah.
it's just so crazy because I'm like, we spent all these years renting and my mom is still renting now. And I'm like, girl, we need to buy a house. We need to just buy like a whole little compound and just have all of us on the same little land or something. Cause
Yes. Yeah, and that's the 2026 dream. You see all these people that have been so invested in hustle culture for the last however, like I wake up at 4 o'clock, I grind it out, I do all this. And now all those same people are like, I need to take care of my body better. I need to get good sleep, have a good sleep score. And instead of living in a
eat
city,
better.
I just want to be around my family. And it's like, that's like
Yes.
what we did. I went out and I hustled from Arizona, and then we moved to Florida, got ran over by a hurricane there, and then I moved the family back to Iowa just so that we could just just be at peace. Like what the business
Yeah.
is going to be busy no matter where I sit. I have to be able to at the end of the day focus on the things I want to focus on, which is family, friends, the things that really matter.
Right.
So yeah,
I love that. Well, you have had a really interesting story. So as we wrap up, I do have those rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
sure.
Awesome. Okay. What is the key to success for you?
Consistency.
Consistency. I love that.
Yep.
What is one piece of advice for other business owners?
Learn how and when to delegate and be non-negotiable about it. When you decide that your business would be better off to offload some tasks and you know the right answer, the only thing that will derail you is when you hire somebody, you let them do it not quite your way. If you can be very, again, non-negotiable about the way that things need to be done, you will prove it to yourself by delegating one set of tasks. And then once you have that template set up, it kind of, the sky's the limit with how you can keep growing your business.
I love that. Okay. And this is a kind of a fun question. So if you had a little bit of magic dust that you could choose and sprinkle on one part of your business, where would you do it?
Oh, sales for sure.
Sales.
Yeah, I mean, I end up spending. I mean, if you look at what I actually do, being on the stage and doing the talks and doing the videos, I don't mind it, but I'm spending 90% of my time basically marketing for our company and spreading the good word. I just wish that people knew about us and I could focus on getting their credit fixed up and getting their clients back to the closing table rather than telling them about it or reminding them about it. So,
Right. Oh, well, hopefully with this interview, this
yeah.
will definitely put some fire in some people's butts and get
Yeah.
them on the phone to call you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So before we get to the final question of the day, could you please share with our audience how they can follow, learn, and contact you?
Yeah, so you can reach us at 866-726-7339. You can always reach us at parkerteam@mycreditguy.com. And on Instagram, I am my credit guy Sam Parker. And you'll find me on Facebook with the same and all that. But I do a decent amount on Instagram. You can find us my credit guy with the check mark on TikTok and different stuff like that. But yeah.
Right. Okay. So that final question of the day, it is what is most inspiring to you today?
The thing that inspires me the most constantly is to see somebody do something that they either didn't think they could or they weren't sure that they could do. And that's why I love what we do because most people come in kind of unsure, maybe thinking that they're not the parent or the spouse that can get a home because they've been told no. So that perseverance on the way to success is very, very inspiring to me. In terms of like today, I actually am a little bit of a counterculturist in terms of like the AI and stuff that's going on. I am
Hmm.
loving seeing original content right now. I love it when I see something
Yes.
that I'm like, that's not part of a machine. I am not impressed when a version of you shows up to say things that you didn't know how to say. I want to hear from you. And so
Right.
I like doing business with people. You don't have to know as much as Google knows. I just want to hear who you are and what you know. And so when I see that original, authentic content still, I'm like, that's who I'm doing business with. When I see it all stepped on by AI, all these Facebook posts that are multiple paragraphs, one or two words, it's like, I get what you're doing. I get that someone else is writing this for you. I'm not impressed. So
It's also funny, like my mom, she'll like tag me in certain AI videos, but like she doesn't read at the bottom that it says like it's AI
I
generated.
know,
And I'm like, Mom, it's not real. It's not real, girl. For
I
like certain
know,
pictures, I'm like, oh, Mom, you need to look. It's not real.
I know. But at least it makes the people that are authentic stand out like a sore thumb,
Yes.
and that's who we want to do. It's like, I don't want you to have a creative program. I want to know what your creativity looks like. I want to know what your
Right.
ideas are, not your ideas polished up by a computer. Like I want to know your opinion and who I'm working with. So yeah, those two things, perseverance over time and then originality and someone being genuine is what gets me going now.
Yeah. Well, this has been a great conversation. I really enjoyed hearing your story. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
And
thank
it's
you.
all, yeah. And also, I just encourage all of you that are watching to save this show and come back and watch it again later because Sam really did have some great insights for business. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you can get notifications every time a new conversation drops, just like this one. Thank you to everyone who joined us today, and a special thank you to you, Sam, for being here today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jada. I really appreciate it as well.